let's talk about healthy relationships after unhealthy relationships. So if you've been in an unhealthy, relationship, then you might have been in this place of fantasizing what it would be like to truly be in a relationship with somebody who actually loves you, who treats you right, who shows up for you. Now, when you finally do get into that place, what you do not expect and what a lot of people don't actually talk about is the immense amount of grief and actual emotional pain you are going to feel stepping into that relationship and getting used to that relationship, getting used to something healthy after learning all of these unhealthy, toxic traits. You might have all the tools in the world, all the emotional intelligence, all of the information, and done so much healing work already, but there's still going to be a part of you that's going to grieve the fact of whatever story, whatever coping mechanism you made up in those situations, anywhere where you have doubted yourself, anywhere where you thought you might have spent your entire future with that other person, anytime that you thought you were 100% in the wrong 24/7, which is never the case, right? It always takes two in a relationship. But then you also start to feel grief when you realize how effortless it is for somebody to love you. When somebody really loves you, they communicate with you, they show up for you. And no, it's never going to look perfect. There's always going to be ups and downs. But generally speaking, it will be effortless for them to show you their amount of love and appreciation for you because it's just second nature for them. They feel it. They actually feel that way. They're actually open to being in love and giving love and also receiving love. Regardless of how imperfect it might look, that is still the natural default for that person. And it's going to be weird because you're going to realize I am lovable. All the things that I was asking for in the past was not a big deal. It was not unreasonable. I was never actually starting a fight. I was just asking for my needs. And this comes with a whole new level of grief, even though you might have already known that in that past relationship. But just seeing and feeling the difference when you are treated right will send a surge of grief through your system. Now, grief is just a sense of a loss, right? And what grief actually does is help disperse active emotional charge. So you might still have active emotional charges from those past relationships. And this is why the grief waves will come and certain memories will surface from the past. Even though you're extremely happy now and you've done a lot of healing work, you might say, or I've already worked on that. It's just your body's natural response to deactivate any active emotional charge so that you can fully move forward. It doesn't matter how often or how much you think you've worked through something. If your body is initiating a grief wave, the best thing you can do is actually just feel into it. Allow it to be there. Don't make enemies with your grief. Don't try to bash yourself for feeling grief or shame yourself saying, I should be over that by now. Know that grief is there to disperse energy in your body, to disperse negative energy, to move negative energy out of your system, and also deactivate emotional charges. So you don't need to make up stories about why this is happening and how come it keeps happening. Just allow your body to do its thing, and don't forget to actually show some compassion and gratitude to your body for doing those things. Now that I understand what grief really is and anger and all those things, I actually allow my body to move through it. And then I actually just feel into where I'm feeling the grief and any other emotion that might come up with it that's being deactivated. And then I just let it be. I don't shame myself. I don't blame my body. I don't get angry at myself and say I should be over this by now. I just sit with it. I'm present with it. And of course, I'm not perfect. I'm an emotional person. I have emotional authority in my charts. So I am emotional, but I do give myself the time and space, which is really important for anyone experiencing those emotional waves, to actually just sit with it. To not try and fix it and rush through it or ignore it, saying it's too much, I can't do this. Allow yourself to feel that grief. Cry as much as you need to. I have cried many, many tears, happy and also sad for the past, like the past versions and things like that, but mostly happy because I realized, wow, I'm not hard to love. Wow, I wasn't actually the problem. Just the things that I was giving to someone, they did not either want or was not able to receive. And no amount of devotion is going to change someone who doesn't want it to. Relationships are always a two-way street. So remember that. If you're devoted and pouring yourself into somebody and it just keeps getting worse and worse, it's going to crumble because that person is not interested in making a future with you. They probably don't care like they think they do. Sometimes walking away is the best option because they may not be on the same page with the type of devotion and type of relationship that you are called here to be in. And sometimes you will pour that devotion in and it will initiate them and they will say, oh my gosh, this is exactly what I needed. So just remember that grief is not your enemy. You will have periods and bouts of time where these past experiences come up, not because you're so unhealed and you should have done something more or better, but because your body's just doing its normal response. So just lean in and feel it. Don't run.